Hello, this is Crystal Watson. I am in case study number 6. Part of this group work was the action plan, which is what I completed for a Latin patient with mental illness. Going through this action plan, I'm going to talk about the employee, her actions, what she could have done, the mother, what her action plan can be in the future, and other staff that are involved in this case study. Starting off with the employee. The employee is a white, middle-aged lady. She received this case and reviewed it. So by reviewing this, she should have been aware that this was a Hispanic client. So she should have prepared herself for this. She should have incorporated a translator that could have been available during this initial setting. This translator could have been via computer or in person. She also should understand that it's not okay to speak in Spanish if you're not properly trained. Healthcare providers need to recognize the language barriers place Hispanic patients at a disadvantage that can be overcome by providing better linguistic access. Without access to professional interpreters, this large and growing population will continue to suffer differentials in both health and access to quality health care. The employee needs to have self-awareness of cultural prejudice. Cultural prejudice refers to the theory that prejudice is embedded in our culture. So her being a white American, we have been kind of, let's say, programmed to have this feeling of Hispanic culture, their disparities, and how our current living situation kind of collides with them. So we need to identify early our beliefs, which could be true or false, and the beliefs of other cultures. And this can be monitored. Self-assessments need to be completed quite often because our environments change. And also can be monitored by management. Attitude and communication, which is a huge concept in this case study, needs to be added to this action plan. Verbal and nonverbal communication is apparent here. Communication skills are essential when collaborating with patients and colleagues. Communication is also important for patient-centered care. Healthcare workers who express empathy and concern for their patients are well prepared to answer questions when they arise, thus resulting in positive patient outcomes. In January 2010, the Joint Commission released a set of new and revised standards for patient-centered communication as part of an initiative to advance effective communication, cultural competence, and patient and family-centered care. These standards are designed to improve the safety and quality of care for all patients and to inspire healthcare facilities to adopt practices promoting better communication and patient engagement. The context in which communication takes place is a major determinant to achieving the desired results. Verbal and nonverbal communication, like I said, took precedence here. When the patient and the mother first got to the facility, they were walked down a dark hall. Well, that sets a mood, doesn't really seem very happy and cheerful. The patient, Pablo, is already in this dark state of mind. He's angry. So this would not have benefited him whatsoever. The employee did not ask open-ended questions. She would directly talk to Pablo and he would respond yes or no and she would move on. It's almost like she was doing a checkbox of just quick, this is what we got to do to get out of here. It was stated in this case study she wrote down furiously and hard expressions were on her face. These facial expressions and actions did not make Pablo or his mom feel very welcoming. It also kind of put up a barrier, and you don't want to give any information when asked questions because you don't really feel like the person cares. She never asked Pablo how he felt or why he appeared angry. Um, she should have asked extra questions to him to kind of get to know him and the mother as well. She stated she knew that she had a poor rapport with Pablo throughout their meetings. So my question would be, why was this not addressed earlier? Her action plan could, incorporate, hey, go to her manager. This situation's not working for me. I think it needs to be reevaluated. Maybe she could have passed over this client to another employee. It was stated that she was irritated with the mother attempting to communicate about the session. This is a 15-year-old patient. The mother is going to be involved. I think it was great on the mother's part for calling to try to communicate. The employee should have been communicating to the mother about the sessions instead of leaving it up to this 15-year-old who already is not compliant with anything that they've tried to attempt in the past. So that was a big barrier. I feel that the employee had personal opinions about Pablo. As healthcare providers, we can't have personal opinions. We can't give these statements. She stated to him that he needed to be responsible for his own health and well-being. This is a 15-year-old patient. Once again, he cannot be responsible for his own health and well-being at this point, and that was once again a good part on his mom, who's trying to be involved. The employee needs to be aware of cultural beliefs of this family. Especially when talking about the herb use. Coming from the background of Hispanic culture, they believe that herbs are a major part. It's very vital to them being in balance with the world. So she actually stated to Pablo that he needed to stop all the herbal remedies that his mom had been initiating. So that, as a healthcare worker, we can't tell you what to and to not take because she is not a physician. She does not have those prescribing authority. She could, however, refer them to a primary care to review over-the-counter medication, herbal use, as well as illegal drug use. This would have opened up another door to maybe initiate a primary care. Maybe they didn't have one. I will say that there is evidence to suggest that herbal remedies may contain ingredients that can worsen medical problems and interact with specific prescription medications. So the employee did have good intentions. However, she just went around it in a bad way. So let's talk about the mother. Pablo's mother is very wanting to be very involved in him. She's concerned about him, so that's great. But her action plan needs to be understanding, I believe, where she is and how she's going to assist her family and her in the future. So first of all, we need to look at acclimation. This describes a process by which a minority, individual, or group gives up its own identity by taking on the characteristics of the dominant culture. Some things she may have to kind of comply with, being, she moved to the United States, so we're going to have to kind of assume some of the roles and the culture that we believe in. And also, she, keep her previous culture, but kind of implement the new way that things are being done. Language acclimation can be a formidable barrier, limiting employment, educational options, and therefore constraining growth and socioeconomic status, which is a huge barrier for Paula's mother because she does not speak English. Action plan for her could possibly be learn to speak English, have her children help her. There are books available for, Spanish to English. I know she doesn't have a whole lot of time, but this is going to be very beneficial for her to learn the English language. Mexican immigrants experience relatively low rates of economic and civic acclimation. This is further suggested that the slow rates of economic and civic acclimation set Mexicans apart from their from other immigrants and may reflect the fact that the large numbers of Mexican immigrants residing in the United States illegally have fewer opportunities to advance themselves along these dimensions. It's a major part for the mother to be aware and know in the future that legally she can be provided with a Spanish translator. Section 1557 of the Affordable Care Act went into effect in July 18th, 2016. It has a direct impact on the laws surrounding medical language services. Under the new law, any healthcare provider or health insurance company receiving federal assistance must provide limited English proficiency patients with qualified interpreters. She needs to ask for help. Utilize her resources. Go to local health departments which have Spanish speaking interpreters there, and get those numbers that she can call, and get other information. I feel that family would benefit from the Bridge program. This program is designed to ease transitions for adolescents between alcohol, drug, and juvenile justice, which fits perfect for Pablo. This program improves adolescents' life skills. They encourage them to remain in school, get a job, participate in GED programs if they need to, and move on to college. Here I have attached the link for the immigration resources in South Carolina. It is right here. I know this case study was based in California. However, I feel that maybe somebody in this class can benefit from the information. You can use it as a resource. I personally found it very informative. I learned new things. I was very unaware of what all South Carolina did provide to immigrants. Let's move on to the staff. Other staff in the building kind of assisted in the negative feeling for the Pablo and the mother. When entering the facility, Pablo and his mother were not greeted in an appropriate way. First impressions make a difference. This sets the mood for the rest of the appointment. They need to be aware of their verbal and nonverbal communication skills. So let's just say that they were, greeted in a nicer tone, then they may not have felt so unwelcome. The staff themselves also need to do self-awareness and cultural prejudice practices. They need to be aware of their feelings versus what the other culture is going through as well. If this facility is located in a highly populated Spanish-speaking area, then maybe it's a good idea for the receptionist to be a certified bilingual speaker. Maybe that needs to be an action plan for this facility. I feel that the manager or the director of the office needs to be aware of the issues that are going on. That way they can be changed, and after the change can be monitored. I have listed here all of the resources that I used for the presentation. Thank you.